Okay, here's an update. This is part of the project that we hadn't anticipated. We were just going to pull the engine, put the engine back in. And as you know, if you've been watching our videos, that didn't happen. So we shaved off all the motor mounts. We've plugged a hole there in the back where the old shaft went through, moved it back. Art's been working on getting a new, it's no longer a strut assembly. You'll see it in the back here. But look at this, the engine is going to sit beautifully right there. And so we've got some of the things that we were after was keeping it inside of the kind of the bulkhead so we didn't interfere with the stairwell, and pushing it back farther so it wasn't way out underneath the sink here. And then as we went back, the other problem was, I'll show you, remember the old packing gland was like a ½ an inch from the coupling. Now, since we've moved that drivetrain aft, we've got 10 inches. We're going with an old school packing, just because our mission on this boat is to make it easy to repair and maintain. And you can fix an old school packing easily anywhere in the world. So we're going with that. We're gonna have a little drip, we're gonna remodify the bilge. Certainly we'll have a little dewatering pump because you do get a little drip drip drip, but it's old school. So we are pretty excited. All of this is coming together. We're going to be glassing all of this in, glassing that outside assembly, and before you know it, we'll be setting in the new end. Okay, so along the lines of all the fiberglass projects, since we moved the engine back this far, got some access, this bilge was terribly deep, inaccessible. It just didn't work. So Art came up with the idea and built this little box, this little drop-in liner, because we couldn't actually get down in there and glass way to the bottom. So we're building it first, then we'll bond it to the keel. We're going to fill it with closed cell foam underneath, so it'll actually be a double bottom if somebody did run this thing onto a reef. And we came up with this level because if you look where Art's standing here, that's where the fuel tank lives. And down underneath here, that's the low spot. Anything that runs from the mast, the forward locker, comes down. So we dropped it just a couple inches below that level. And now it's going to be serviceable. We're going to make some mounting attachment points for our bilge pump and our high water alarm, and a small dewatering pump for that dripless shaft, or no, for the drip, the conventional packing that we put in. We did not go with dripless, so we thought we'd need a little dewatering pump. And so this is going to be a way better setup for the bilge to make it accessible and make it proper. So we got a lot of glass work ahead of us, but everything's done, fit, and ready to go, so that'll make the jobs a whole lot easier. Okay, the other part we're doing is Art's building our new Skag here. That tube runs in the middle. We're adding a exterior bearing holder here, and then of course the new max prop. And this plywood is temporary, of course. This is going to be G10 that can be drilled and tapped. There's going to be a spine of G10 with studs, so this assembly is going to be bolted to the boat. And then big fillets, and you can see we've removed all the paint and material here so that we can fill it and bond and glass and make this part of the boat. So it's going to be spectacular. We also over here have filled in all of this, pushed the gudgeon up on, we lined it so that it wouldn't stick, and let this cure. Now that we know exactly where we want it, because the rudder's working perfectly, so now we left enough distance for some sealant, but now when we do final assembly of the gudgeon, we can drill the holes. It'll be perfect and it'll be good to go. We can go sailing.